All right. So taking a break from the puers for just a little while, not long at all. And so with my lunch today, I'm drinking the Autumn Flush Golden Red Thunder from Golden Tips Tea. This is an autumn picking, autumn black tea, and I really like this tea. I drink it when I'm in the mood for coffee, but I don't necessarily want coffee, you know. And it's a very aromatic tea too. I mean, it smells awesome, and I liken it to like a fermented grape. And the Darjeeling teas are known for their muscatel flavors and aromatics. And I've never had muscatel wine, so I don't know what that is. But to me, it smells like something in between a green grape and a raisin. You know what I mean? So it's very sweet, very mellow. See what the leaves look like. That's the dry leaf. And I've been drinking this tea now for a few years. And so I've gotten the brewing parameters just about right. I'm only using 1 tablespoon of tea for this one. I usually also do a wash on this one because the second infusion, uh, in my opinion, is the best infusion. But I don't have my wash cup here with me. So what I'm going to do is just give this a really good wash. And then I'm just going to make my wash and my first infusion together. That'll be just fine for this tea. Um, the later infusions of this tea can really be done grandpa style, which is just putting the water in and just drinking straight from the mug. You can just leave the leaves in there. This tea smells so good. Even the volatiles that come off of it, with the heat, it's just it's so good. I can just sit here and smell it all day long. The water temperature I do use just slightly cooler than boiling. The reason why is because if you use just like super boiling hot water with this tea, you can burn it, and you will get sort of a burnt flavor. Remember, like I said, I really like this tea because it gives me some of the coffee vibes I'm looking for, right? But it's not coffee at all. And so if you burn it, then you'll definitely get more of those, burnt coffee bean type flavors versus the dark, rich, uh, sweet, you know, leafy flavors that this tea has. I mean, it is for sure an autumn tea, no question about it. The leaves are fairly cut up here. They're not whole leaves by any stretch of the imagination. But with that being said, this particular bag has been traveling with me for um, the better part of a year, in and out of airplanes and all sorts of stuff. And they put it in this nice bag, which is pretty, But again, when you have this stuffed in your bags, then the tea can become broken up for sure. Um, but yeah, it's not from my memory. And like I said, I've ordered I think two or three of these so far, and the leaves are always sort of broken up, and that goes back to um, again, you want to be careful not to burn this tea because you can definitely do that. But unlike most, cut up teas, again, this one is really hard to overbrew. You can keep it really as long as you like, and you'll still get a really nice brew out of it. I'm pretty sure the lighting is not making for a great show of this tea because this thing is red, red. Hence the name Golden Red Thunder. It is very close to a Dia Shang, Chinese red tea. Very close to that. Very close to that. Yeah. And so with this tea, you get some bitterness, um, not a lot of bitterness. And again, I'll go back and say that the second infusion is the best infusion. Okay. And so you saw I added the wash to the first infusion. And so there's going to be a little bit more bitterness there um, than than typical, I guess. But what I like about this tea is it's very bright, and there's an aftertaste um, of fruit. Um, Plums is what I think. I'm sorry, not plums, prunes, because prunes are ripe, dried plums, and so that's what it is. It's prunes. Um, the initial flavor you get is sort of, I keep saying coffee, but um, that's what it reminds me of. You know, there's like these coffee flavors, um, but then the but then that goes away, and then you're left with, like I said, this prune flavor. It's a very you can't get around that brightness that this tea has, which is really interesting, and why I will continue to order this as long as they produce it. I don't know if this is a particular um, estate because typically Golden Tips Tea talks about the estate that it comes from, and it says it's a single estate, but it doesn't say which estate it is. It just says it's an autumn flush, late autumn, pre-winter uh, Darjeeling tea. So hopefully they continue to produce this because man, it is, when you talk about Darjeeling teas being the champagne of teas, when you think about all the things that make a great autumn flush tea great, it is that really mellow um, but really nice fall foliage smell. You know what I mean? And you get all of that in this tea. I love it. And again, um, go back to the aromatics. You know, now you're getting a little bit of storage now. But as this heat dissipates, because I had the lid on, but as the heat dissipates, um, it goes back to that really sweet forest floor is the aroma I know that I'm going to get a little bit later. Um, yeah, right now there's still that in between grape and raisin smell. Man, I love this thing, and you can see too. I don't know if the color will come out here in the video, but there's some green specks in there, right? So I think I think that this is the late autumn, pre-winter, and obviously it's been fermented, but it's still a fairly green tea, and I think that comes out more and more as you go through the infusions. I mean, I really do. I love smelling this tea. I will typically. as I drink this tea, I'll smell the tea. Between infusions, I smell the tea. It is definitely a treat for sure. And even the nose on the liquor is good. It's different though. I've never tried to describe it. So let's see what I can. It is really tough to pin down. It I am getting a little bit of that green grape. I'll tell you, the liquor has more of a green grape smell than than of a raisin smell, right? So it's as if the liquor is a bit fresher than the wet leaf, which it sort of makes sense. Yeah, yeah, it's more green grape sort of a smell, and and like I said, muscatel is a word that's thrown around a lot with Darjeeling teas, and so I imagine that if I did have an experience with a muscatel wine, then maybe I'll have the same sort of conclusion. But the liquor for me is definitely more of a prune for sure. And again, the first bite, like now, there's zero bitterness, zero bitterness. You know, there's a little bit of a bite on the under and sides of my tongue, which is really great. That sweetness, sort of a bite there, but not bitter at all. I mean, it is exactly what you would expect from an autumn picking. It's just smooth and mellow. I love it. There is quite a bit of plant material here. Again, like I said, this is fairly cut up leaves at this point. Um, I have to say this too, in full disclosure. Like I said, this has been with me for the better part of a year, and this bag is pretty full. So, this is not a tea that I drink often. It really isn't. I drink a lot of other teas more than this one, but I like this one. I really do. And my game plan was to drink it today with pastries. Um, but I ended up drinking the cold brew um, that I had from yesterday. So I'm drinking it now with my lunch, but it goes great with anything. It really does. Um, and then the other thing I like to talk about, because I do want to include this in my reviews, is this is definitely a tea that I will serve to someone to impress them. Anyone who is knowledgeable about teas, because again, it may be difficult to tell, but the red color on this is amazing. It really is, and that's not shocking, really, when you think about the Chinese red teas, right? Because this is a black tea, but still, the color is shocking. Okay. The other thing is just the flavor is outstanding. If this is someone who knows a bit about Darjeeling, or maybe they only know the first flush Darjeelings and never really tried the autumn flush, this is definitely something that I would pull out to impress them. And then for someone who's brand new to teas, this is definitely something that I would suggest as well, especially if this is a person who enjoys coffee. Because for me, this is a coffee substitute. If I don't have coffee, right? If I don't have coffee, this is a coffee substitute. Um, Outside of that, again, it's a very sweet, really smooth and mellow tea. And again, aromatics. You just every time I put the lid on and take the lid off, I get I get the storage. So you really have to let this thing air out and breathe to maintain the fresh aromatics. But yeah, it is good. All right. Anyway, that's it. Darjeeling Autumn Flush.